Okay, first of all, on behalf of the pastor, I don't want to talk for Father Simon anymore because he's not around. I want to thank Michael personally for the mission to be speaking directly after the Mass. A lot of good insights, very clear, very thoughtful. And it's good to hear from a lay person. I think that's one of the successes of Light of the World. If you get to do a Light of the World retreat, I want to encourage you strongly. It's lay participation. I mean, as much as I'm like you, and there's some things that you have going on in your lives that I can only relate to in theory. This whole marriage business, women still do this to me very often, and I look at them and I say, I'm not married, I don't know what this means. So you have certain things, and I think you're able to communicate that. Secondly, every one of these young men on this altar has not said no to me asking if they want to be a priest. Every one of them. In varying degrees. Pray for vocations. Especially these 6 young men behind me, but the vocations throughout the church. And for young women as well, to consider. Marriage is obviously is the foundation of all vocations. I want to pray for marriages, for people to choose their spouses. And one more announcement. I can't make breakfast on Friday, Larry, because my nephew is graduating from the Naval Academy as a boot camp. So I made plans. I want to cancel it. Anyway, while you're on the journey of the mission, always be mindful of this. Whenever 2 or 3 or more are gathered in my name, I am present. Many graces are given. Many of you took advantage of the sacrament of reconciliation today. You're going to receive communion today. There's going to be another talk after this. There could be some great changes. There could be some new insights. There's going to be some new directions. There could be some new confidence. Hopefully, for all of us, there could be never greater trust in God as a conclusion of this mission. And I commend you for being here. This parish I can't tell you what it's like to be a member of this parish, to be a priest in this parish. And one of the things we love the most is so many opportunities to evangelize, to be catechized, and to grow in our faith. If a third of the people took advantage of the resources that were provided them, this parish would be even that much stronger. And my final word for the mission, I still got to do a homily, but as the refrain said, if you are insulted for the name of Christ, blessed are you. For the Spirit of God rests upon you. Please talk about your faith. It's not to be kept a secret. This anonymous Catholic business is not working. I just came from the health club. I don't know what it is about me. Why I enjoy messing with people about the faith all day long. I never get tired of it. I never do. Maybe the Lord, what you're not doing, God is doing for me to make up for. But I'm having a blast. Try it. It's fun. And what are they going to do yet? And if you're insulted, blessed are you. Okay, 3 times in today's gospel, Jesus says, 3 times. If you don't give up your mother, father, and sister, your brother, this and that, you cannot be my disciple. If you don't carry your cross, you cannot be my disciple. If you do not renounce all your possessions, you cannot be my disciple. There are 3 clear guidelines, 3 clear invitations to enter more deeply on this journey of love that's not just following the law. The first reading is about the law. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. Now he's saying, if you really want to get close to me, if you really want to take the next step, you got to go all in. And I think they're best read backwards, because we're renouncing all our possessions. What are we talking about here? Selling all that we have, getting rid of our car, walking around like St. Francis? Absolutely not. Maybe for some, but for the vast majority of people who hear my voice, it means being dispossessed, being detached. Most of the stress that you and I endure throughout any given day is by placing an expectation on a circumstance or a person that disappoints us. Because we're attached to an outcome. Think about it. We put too much emphasis on other people, what we expect from them, or a circumstance, or an outcome. Be dispossessed. Be with the Lord in a trusting relationship where I don't need these things to satisfy me. I don't need this outcome to make me a better person. Monsignor always says this. God bless him. I love him. He's not here to talk. I love Monsignor Herman. Let me tell you why. Willie always says during dinner on Saturday, he looks to me and he says, I don't want you wiping drool off my mouth when I'm old in a nursing home. And we talk about the good times we had at St. Thomas. Let's have them now. Hurrah! Amen. That's right. So it's not getting there. When you get there, you're going to find out it wasn't what you expected anyway. So trust God more and trust things less. Be dispossessed. You're not going to sell all what you have. Many of you gave tremendous charity to the Adoration Chapel. tremendous charity at Sunday collection. And God knows what you gave. There are great outcomes in that. And God blesses that. He blesses your giving. But let's just be mindful that detachment enables us to build up our relationship with God. Because if we're detached, we can do the next thing. The next thing is, I'm moving it backwards, man. Whoever does not carry his own cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. For me, one of the hardest parts of the spiritual life is conforming my will to that of the Lord's. I'm the youngest son. I know what I want. I do. Any day, any hour of the day, you see me. What do you want? I'll tell you what I want. I know everybody that asks me what I want. I know what I want. I had a burrito today. I am so embarrassed. I had a 2,000 calorie burrito today. I am so embarrassed. That's why I go to the health club. Passed out right after. I'm serious. Clean lady woke me up. Father, okay, I got it. Okay. I was too hungry, and I broke out, and I'm embarrassed, and I'm not bragging about this, but it's a bad example of what I'm trying to communicate. I know I want all day long. Maybe you were like me, you were spoiled, and your mom took care of you as well, she went out to care of me. And it's hard sometimes, it's hard a lot of times to do God's will. What I want and what God wants are not often the same. Sometimes they are. I know he wants me in Mass today. I know he wants me in Mass tomorrow. I know he wants me to stay on duty tonight in case the phone rings. I know that. And sometimes when you're doing God's will, you are in the same path. There is an interlocking. They coming together. And that's awesome. And when that does happen, it's okay to feel good about it. It's okay to feel good that you're in God's will, and you're doing God's will, and you're conscious that your will is being performed. It's okay. We're Catholic. We can lighten up. We can walk and shoot down at the same time. We can actually do God's will with a smile on our face. And I can go to the health club and aggravate all the fallaways with a smile on my face. And watch them go, man, like that. Bye, have a nice day. I don't like that, man. I'm sorry, bye. I am a child. Someone's got to do it. Okay, so this builds up to the big point. It starts with this. But if you're dispossessed and conform your will to His will, this will be the easier part, which is God doesn't want you to hate your mother, father, brother, and sister. Earlier at Mass, I gave the same homily, and I said to somebody, what's the opposite of not having faith? What's the opposite of not having faith? Idolatry. Were you at Mass this morning? Oh, sorry. Okay. Anyway, when I said to the man who said it, I said, he went to my class, I'm all excited, someone actually got an answer right. I always thought it was lack of faith, or apathy, or non-belief. But the Pope said no. That's part of it. Remember, doubt, we're off on a tangent, but doubt, if you follow it, could lead you to stronger faith. It's not the opposite faith, because the opposite faith is idolatry. So I said to the guy, that's an awesome answer. Keep in mind, it's a 6:30 crowd, they're really upbeat, they're ready to go. I said, I want to come out and kiss you. But his wife smiled like, but your wife will get angry. And I suspect your wife doesn't need a reason to hate her husband, father, brother, sister. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't that funny? Anyway. But the point is, he's not telling us to hate people, clearly. What's he saying? Of all the relationships you have, I've got to be number one. Your loyalty, your attachment, a radical attachment, has to be to me. And if we're not praying in public, if we're not speaking about our faith, are we really getting radically attached to Jesus? Are we that PC or that concerned about what the librarian's going to say? I just came from the mailbox, the post office. I don't go to the post office. I had a wild experience. I was trying out my faith in the post office. I had no problem doing that. Because at least I like to think so. I'm attached to God. He's my first priority. He's the head of the agenda. He is the agenda. Everything else should flow from that. So, in conclusion, if we're dispossessed and detached, we're more able to promptly follow God's will. And the more we follow God's will, the more we'll make Him our first priority. And at this Mass, there's no greater priority than receiving our true Lord's body, blood, soul, and divinity in the most awesome gift of Holy Communion. And in doing so, ask on this mission, ask for a blessing, ask for a healing, ask for a miracle, pray for vocations, pray for the success of the medical room, pray for the success of the consecrating of our chapel, and pray for our parishes growth.